Chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
And I'm Hope Stokes.
The pandemic, stresses of life, a lot of different things have gone into where we're at and where we're at in our headspace right now. And I think this is a topic that is just really pervasive in our community right now is behavioral health. And sometimes addiction comes with those and it can become an issue. We start using self-medication as a technique to heal ourselves. And thank goodness for places like Cenikor. The Cenikor group here in Amarillo is the place where people can find true happiness. We're joined today by Mrs. King and Mrs. Cross from Cenikor right here in Amarillo. Ladies, welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you so much. We're happy to be here.
Let me ask you this: the overview of the outpatient program, and this is something most people tend to prefer if they're seeking treatment for a drug or alcohol addiction. Outpatient is sometimes the best way for them. They have to still work. They still have to live life. Can you tell us a little bit about how Cenikor approaches the idea of outpatient services?
Laura, I'm going to let you take that.
Okay. So what we do is we try to be not as invasive as we possibly can. And so we have morning groups and we have evening groups. Those last for 8 weeks. The morning groups run from 9 to 12 and the evening groups run from 5:30 to 8:30. And we'll also have counselors available each week. And we help with that transition. If not everybody does need treatment in inpatient, but lots of people do need some outpatient treatment. And sometimes we just need to get a little bit of a readjustment going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that people don't really realize just how many people are affected by substance abuse. I mean, I know so many, including myself, who's been touched by this. So I want to thank y'all for your work on that. And I know that you guys have the outpatient MAT program. Could you tell us how that works and how to seek that service?
The MAT program for Cenikor is, we really just introduced that probably about a year ago. And when we talk about MAT program, we're talking about medication assisted treatment. And so a lot of times how we work that program is they actually come into our inpatient program and go through the process of detox to get them off of opioids. And basically what we do is we use a medication. Currently Suboxone is the medication that is being used. And we use that during detox and taper the medication down until we find that actual dosage that works well with that individual. And then it turns into a kind of a lifetime commitment. And then there's some folks that come off of that medication and go on from there. But those that do need the medication allows them to basically get back to the things that are really important to them, their values, their families, their home life, that type of thing. With our program through outpatient, they are able to now come in and we work with them on an outpatient basis versus them actually having to be in residential care, which makes it a lot easier for those people that basically need to be at work. They're that breadwinner. They're that child care provider, and they really and truly need to be there in order to continue to be able to handle their day-to-day values, their day-to-day business. And so we've really garnished that around an outpatient basis now, where they can actually call in, make an appointment, and we work it just like we would the outpatient basis. And Laura can kind of attest to you on a regular daily basis what does that mean for outpatient services and how do we do that? So it's a matter of really getting a referral call from doctors, from the individual themselves just saying, I need some help. Families saying, hey, what do we do? What's the next step to get that person in here? And so we take referrals from everywhere. And we just start from there and do a simple assessment. Laura, you want to talk about that assessment a little bit?
Yeah, we bring them in. We'll do an assessment. It's a kind of a we kind of get where they're at right now, where they are economically, socially, where they are at home, what kind of stressors are bothering them the most, and then we kind of take it from there and build an individualized treatment plan to help them overcome some of those obstacles.
There seems to be a lot of all the way down this path of abuse to treatment. There's a lot of stigmas and stereotypes and hurdles that we have to look through. Uh, do you see that the outpatient clinic kind of takes away one of those boundaries where people don't want to be pigeonholed or called? Does it allow more accessibility that more people are willing to try an outpatient program than maybe, let's say, an inpatient or a extended stay period?
Sure, sure. For the for the individual, it really honestly, like Laura said, it's extremely individualized. Some individuals will call in and they'll say, I think I just need that outpatient. When we walk through that assessment, we find that, honestly, they need inpatient. And so our inpatient, our outpatient work hand in hand to determine what's the best thing for that individual. But you're right. Some individuals will find that they don't want that stigma, maybe that, oh my gosh, they're off at therapy or they're off at treatment. And so they, like Laura said, we want to go with whatever is the least restrictive form of treatment for them, but that's going to give them the best results. And so if that is something that is really a barrier for that person for reaching out for help, then yes, that's what we want to do is if we can't get that commitment to be in treatment and outpatient is the best thing for them and they're willing to do that, then absolutely that's what we want to do so that we know that they're getting treatment one way or another. And so that has a lot to do with those clinicians and them really sitting down with these individuals and finding out what are their stressors, but also what's the most important thing going on in their life at that point in time.
I know that there's some listeners today that know somebody that may need help. And so I'm sure that you guys are really touching them today. And the Cenikor Foundation, reach out to them if you need help, if you have a loved one that needs help. They're there. Thank you for your patience. It is not a quick fix. It definitely takes a lot of patience and a lot of love. So thank you guys for everything you're doing.
One thing that I would really like to mention this morning is one of the things that makes Cenikor fabulous is that regardless of your ability to pay, or regardless of whether you have that insurance or not, you're able to come and seek that care. If we have somebody show up at that door or on that telephone, we're going to either get them into services or we're going to find someone that can get them into services. So that's huge. And the second thing is employee assistance programs. All of our businesses in town, everyone is now very high up on making sure that their employees have access to services. So Amarillo has been phenomenal with reaching out and saying, hey, my business has this employee assistance program, but we don't know which way to direct some of our people. And we now know there's something at home. How do we access that? So that's been fantastic too. So if there are any businesses that are looking for that, we are absolutely open to speaking to them.
If you know someone who's seeking help or you yourself are seeking help, you can give Cenikor a call 24 hours a day at 888-236-4567. You can go by at 1001 Wallace Boulevard. And she said something I think this really carries a lot of weight. The healthcare system in this country, most people, it takes a PhD to explain it. But their main mission and their main goal is to get you help, to get you well. That's the first priority. They'll figure out how and the finances down the road. But the first step is finding help and getting help. So if you know someone who needs that help, give Cenikor a call. It's been a blessing in our community. Ladies, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, sir. Enjoyed it.
Time. We're going to take a quick break. We're back with more.